So to be completely honest, I kind of held off on making Ash's content for a little bit because I thought that I would not have to wait that long to play with physical cards, playing the new Natural Magic expansion for Ash's Ascendancy, and that was clearly a mistake. However, we do have an update, and that update is for the release of the Natural Magic expansion and OP update. OP standing for Organized Play, which is like the official PvP tournament play style thing. It doesn't really matter if you're just playing PvE, so you might be able to just ignore this first part. However, if you do play PvP and you want to play using the official stuff, there is a thing called the chained list, meaning that you cannot play these cards during round 1 and you cannot have them in your opening hand because those cards are deemed to be too powerful for round 1 play. And version 9 of the OP document can be found here. This update brings a new addition to the chained list, Era's End from Ashes Reborn, the Scholar of Ruin. This spell has always had tremendous amount of latent potential, and I kind of wish that they supported it more because after they released the card, there really wasn't that much support, but whatever. And it's clear that the ceiling of this has exceeded what is tenable for round 1 gameplay. Rowan Umbrand is able to use high volumes of card draw to play 3 copies of Discovery in the first round, then use Era's End to deal damage and summon the Reborn Chimera that same round. This power exceeds the intended play pattern of summoning the Reborn Chimera, which is intended to be a later game payoff. While the possibility still remains for Rowan to play 3 discoveries in round 1, Era's End potential is excessive for a unit that effectively is going to be around for the whole game. I have to commend the players who have pushed Rowan to this level of competitiveness, as he's always been one of my favorite Phoenixborn designs, and he's one of my favorite Phoenixborn designs as well. I highly recommend you give this a play if you have access to it, even if it is on the chained list. Just play PvP with it or whatever, or PvE with it or whatever. It's a lot of fun. People call it like Chimera Rush or whatever. My hope is that competitive Ashes players can take what they have discovered from this exploration of maximizing Rowan's potential and continue to use him in high-level play just without overkilling for 3 from the word go. And in case you're wondering what they're talking about, Era's End is a action spell. It costs your main action, side action, and an hourglass, so only 1 dice. Resolve all effects that trigger at the end of the round on unexhausted cards currently in play in the order of your choice. So anything that would trigger at the end of the round, you get to trigger them if they are unexhausted. So there are a couple of cards that do this. What I think is funny is that they are putting this on a chained list right before they released Snapseed, who has Wilt, discard this card at the end of the round unless it has an alteration spell attached to it. So Era's End would actually just destroy all the Snapseeds or discard all the Snapseeds. So I guess it's a good time to put it on the chained list if they want this to actually be viable. But before that though, Era's wrong way. Era's End is significant because it could summon the Reborn Chimera via the red raindrops, and this is a Rowan exclusive card. And Era's End is basically also a Rowan exclusive card because, like I said, it didn't get that much support after Rowan was released. But anyways, red raindrop has, at the end of the round, you may deal 1 damage to target unit. Then, if there are at least 3 red raindrops attached to your Phoenixborn, place a Reborn Chimera Conjuration onto your battlefield. So, Era's End, for 1 dice, could deal 3 damage in round 1 to units, and it could put out a Reborn Chimera, who is a 4/4/0 with Overkill 3. So if they attack and it's not guarded, you'll take 4 damage, and if you do guard, chances are whatever you guard with is going, or if you block? Yeah, if you block, then chances are that unit is going to be destroyed because most units do not have 4 life, so you would still take 3 damage. So for 1 dice, you could deal 3 damage to units, and then 3 damage to the player as well. So kind of crazy cost curve on that. Anyways, moving on past the organized play stuff, Ashes at Gen Con 2026. We plan to have the latest release Ashes Ascendancy Natural Magic expansion available for sale at Gen Con booth 2229. Stop by to pick up a copy or say hey and talk about Ashes with us. So if you're going to Gen Con, I guess you can actually buy this expansion unlike everybody else. With the shipping update from our warehouse and our partner slated for mid-July, I'm still waiting to see if that's true. This set will be legal for our Gen Con 2026 tournament. Prepare your decks to combat the merciless Tailwind strikes from Kana Galeheart, and I think that Tailwind is kind of busted based off the 1 game that I've played with it, and I do think it is power creep. I'm just going to straight up say I think it's power creep, but we will see about that. And the explosive evolution of Maeve Lumenvale's Garden, and I don't think that her evolution line is very explosive, but again, we shall see. Or take our newest characters for a spin for yourself at our event. Tickets are available, blah, 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 Gen Con, basically. So, they did not mention in this article the exact reasons why this has been delayed so much, but on the Discord, they did post a message, and that message was just published an Ashes article, blah blah blah. You're surely aware, but global shipping has been a mess, particularly with products shipped to the US that were made in other countries. In order to save money and keep our prices more or less the same, we decided to bundle print of different games together. In this case, Ashes, Summoner Wars, which I hear good things about but I never played, and Super Auto Pets Card Battle. The end result was a crazy long wait. So basically, they printed all 3 of these games, the next run for all 3 of these games at once, and we're like, all right, ship it at once. So they had to wait for them all to be printed and then ship at once, which is why we were waiting for so long. Now, I'm not really like... I don't really feel the wait. Like, it doesn't really matter to me, but I know that for a lot of people, it felt like they released Ashes Ascendancy and then the game just sort of died. They went radio silent for a long, long time. And then when they actually stopped being radio silent and they gave us news about when it was going to be released, it didn't get released during quarter 2. They said it was quarter 2 and then it didn't get released during quarter 2, and even now it's still not available for sale. So it's like, okay, now I'm starting to feel it. I'm like, you gave me a date and then you didn't meet that date. Now I care. But anyways, I've shared many of the thoughts posted here with my team, as well as the worry people felt that the delay might bode ill for the game, and it definitely does bode ill for the game. That's not might. We agree it was too long a wait, particularly for the first expansion of the new Ashes cycle, so we won't do it again. That is not reassuring. Like, you might have just killed off the game. There might not be an again. Anyways, the second Ashes Ascendancy expansion is already in production, and you will hopefully feel it hits at just the right time. We love Ashes, and we know you do too, so we'll make sure the flow of cardy goodness flows more smoothly next time. Again, they might have killed the game already, but let's hope that they didn't. Will the set pop onto PHG Online Store anytime soon? Because again, you still can't buy it. I know that you said in the article you'll be selling it at Gen Con, but should I wait for it to appear in the online store, or it'll be a while and I should just look for a third-party seller? And they said it will appear as if summoned by Artifice Magic on our web store the same day as retail release. Will give it a proper announcement. So I guess that means we'll get another article. Who knows when that'll be? Hopefully it'll be soon. Going back to what's actually in the article though, what's next for Ashes Ascendancy? First off, thank you for your patience with the release of the Ashes Ascendancy Natural Magic expansion. We know this particular set has been a long wait and would like to assure you that Ashes and Ascendancy expansions are still moving along at a great pace. You may have even seen a teaser of the next Phoenix-born Tash Cantasita from Plaid Hat Games representative at All Aboard Expo 26 in the Philippines. If you haven't, allow us to present both Tash as well as another new Phoenix-born from the next release, the Ashes Ascendancy Natural Magic, or not Magic, I'm so used to saying Natural Magic, Illusion Magic expansion. So, these new Phoenix-borns are Esius Hollowbrook, Phoenix-born of Eunite, and Tash Cantasita, Phoenix-born of Blackwater Waste, and she is apparently based on Philippine culture, which is probably why they debuted her in the Philippines. They are both Battlefield 5, 18 life, and Spellboard 4, and I'm going to start with Tash because that's the one I'm most familiar with, because Esius was just revealed just now. Tash has Steal. Once per turn, after a unit you control deals damage to an opponent's Phoenix-born by attacking, discard one card off the top of that opponent's draw pile. If you do, search your discard pile for an alteration spell and place it into your hand. So this is actually a really, really cool effect, and I'm always excited to get my hands on new Ashes cards, but I'm particularly excited for Tash and Esius. They just seem really, really cool. Tash in particular has Steal, which is once per turn, and this does not exhaust Tash. So you are kind of encouraged to every single turn attack with one unit to hopefully get through and deal 1 damage, so you can mill 1 card off the opponent every single turn, which is a very different playstyle from a lot of Ashes stuff, which is like, you want to build wide and then attack all at once, right? Especially you see that with Kana's deck with Tailwind, which is like, yes, you definitely want to make one big wide swing, whereas Tash is like, no, you want to attack every single turn, which is super cool. We don't really see that a lot in Ashes. As for Esius, he has a raise, cost a side action, exhaust, and 1 basic dice. Remove a ready spell you control from the game. So already we're doing stuff that I don't think we've seen in Ashes yet. When it comes to ready spells in Ashes, most of it is just like it sits there until you use it or you meditate it away. There's no movement on their spellboard side. And Esius is introducing actual like movement in there, which I'm excited to see what his deck also brings in terms of like other people being able to do stuff involving moving around your spellboard. Anyways, remove a ready spell you control from the game. If you do, deal 2 damage to target unit an opponent controls and deal 1 damage to target opposing player's Phoenixborn, which is crazy value. 1 dice for 3 damage total. Especially since this is a side action, so you can deal 2 damage to unit to get rid of it, and then deal 1 damage to the Phoenixborn to get rid of their Astral Die if they have one on them, and then that leaves your main action free to attack with, which is super, super cool. However, when it comes to moving around stuff in the spellboard, there are also cards that, if you come from Ashes Reborn, there's these cards called the Law cards. There's 5 of them: Law of Assurance, Law of Domination, Law of Fear, Law of Grace, and Law of Sight. And all of these Law cards have something called Bound. This card cannot be discarded from your spellboard when you meditate, and previously the only way to get rid of a card from your spellboard was to meditate, so you can't get rid of it basically, and has fleeting. Discard this card at the end of the round. So basically you play this ready spell out, it has some sort of effect, you can't get rid of it, and then it goes away, and all of them have some sort of effect that affects every player in the game. So for example, Law of Grace. When this spell comes into play, remove 1 rune token from your Phoenixborn, and after any Phoenixborn, that not just you, it's also your opponent, after any Phoenixborn is dealt damage from a spell or ability, prevent 1 damage from being received. So you could now play Law of Grace and just sit around not taking any hits, not taking any damage basically, until your opponent runs out of stuff to do. And once that is done and you want to start dealing damage, you can now use Asaius' ability to get rid of the Law of Grace, and now it's no longer the board, and you can just go ham attacking your opponent, and they can't do anything about it. Well, I mean, they can do stuff about it, but they won't have that damage reduction from the Law of Grace. There's no longer a downside from playing those Law cards. It won't affect you anymore, basically, if you are playing with Asaius. So, very excited to see both of these Phoenixborn, and I'm hoping to get my hands on them soon, hopefully in like, I don't know, a month, to make up for Natural taking so long, but probably not going to be a month. But they're very, very cool, and I can't wait to see what they do with those cards, or what they do with the cards in the deck these come with, because these are very unique abilities. So obviously the deck that comes with them sort of has to play with these abilities as well, so hopefully they'll introduce more stuff that involves, you know, movement on the spellboard side, and cool mill stuff. Mill needs a little bit of help, but also new alteration stuff. I think that Tasha's unique card is going to be an alteration that costs 0 to play, but it doesn't do anything unless it is charged, because she's probably going to be the Illusion Artifice, and Asaius is probably going to be the Illusion... I always forget the word. Illusion Astral, because black hole, right? Space. He's probably going to be the Astral. Tasha's probably going to be the Artifice. Also, by the way, I forgot to mention this, but some people do not like the art direction for these cards, particularly the fact that Tash has a gun on her back. That's clearly a gun, and people don't like that sci-fi elements are being introduced, and I'm like, it's fine. It's a giant world. Like, it's okay. I don't mind it. Let me know if you do, I guess. But also that there's a lot more color in the background of these Phoenixborn, and they think that it makes it look less like an Ashes card. I kind of agree, but I'm also like, they look good, so I'm okay with it. Anyways, so that is the update for Ashes Ascendancy Natural Expansion and the OP update. If you know what the OP update is, and you're probably devastated or very, very happy. If you do not like Chimera Rush, if you do not like playing against Chimera Rush, you're probably very, very happy. But hopefully the Natural Magic expansion will actually be released soon. They'll release another update article, and that they will release something with better art alongside of it, so I can steal it for my thumbnails, and that I will see you next time. Goodbye.